Thank you for joining us today for the Education and Follow-Ups Module Help video. The Education module is designed to provide educational resources to the patient and document those materials given. Access the Education module by clicking the Education button. When the Education module is accessed for the first time, you are prompted to add education for your patient. Education may be provided as files or free text. Click the tabs under the search area to filter between the two. Education files are handouts that you provide to your patient. ehrTHOMAS stores a digital copy of this handout within the system in case you need to print paper education or send an electric PDF education to provide to your patient. Most of your practice's educational files have been added to your EHR during the implementation. To add in more educational items, please see the chapter on media files. Free text education is verbal education that you provide to your patients. Click on the categories along the left side to filter the education that have been attached to specific categories. Search for specific education by entering the search criteria in the search field. Sort the education in ascending or descending order by clicking the Sort button. Single-click the desired education to move the item under the selected education on the right. Once education has been added with a specific diagnosis, the system will remember the diagnosis code and the education provided. When another patient has the same diagnosis code, the system will provide a list of suggested codes for the user to provide. Remove an education from the list by clicking it to highlight it, then click Remove. Add an education to the patient's education tracking by clicking Next. Close the screen without requesting information, click the Cancel button. If the verbal education cannot be found in the free text list, click the Add Free Text Education button. The system will ask you to fill out the fields. Enter in the desired caption for the free text education. Enter in the verbal education that you are providing to your patient in the education field. Select the desired category for this education. Save your free text education and add the documentation by clicking Save. Save your free text education, add the documentation to your patient, and create another education by clicking the Save Add button. Exit the screen without making changes by clicking on Cancel. Education can also be achieved wherever there is a blue eye with a code. This will take you to Medline Plus, where there will be a description and source in regards to the condition. ehrTHOMAS will be navigated to the patient education tracking screen once all of the education has been added. The patient education tracking is where the user can review the education that needs to be provided to the patient. Additional education may be requested from the patient education tracking. The user has the option to save the requested education for another individual to provide the requested education. This screen will also appear upon entering the education module if there are any outstanding educations. Review all education items that the patient has ever received. Click the Show All checkbox. Add another educational resource to provide to the patient. Click the Add button. Save any changes made to the educational tracking screen. Click the Save button. Discard any changes made to the education tracking screen. Click Cancel. If education was requested and has not been marked complete, the education will be added to the patient's task list. Each educational item will have its own set of buttons and must be marked as complete to show up on the note. Indicate in the note that educational resource was provided to the patient. Click the Complete button. This will remove the education from the list. If any educational item was requested for a patient in error, click the Remove button. If the education is a file, the Open File button will be illuminated. The education can be printed from here to give to the patient. The Follow-Ups module is designed to document the clinician's plan of action for the patient and allows the administrative staff to be notified that something needs to be done. This can include scheduling an appointment, referring the patient to specialists, or generating a letter to another provider. Access the follow-ups by clicking the Follow-Ups button. When the Follow-Ups module is accessed for the first time, or if there are no outstanding follow-ups, the system will prompt the user to add a new follow-up. Click on the categories along the left to filter the follow-ups that have been attached to specific categories. Search for a specific follow-up, enter the search criteria into the search field. Select to sort by description, code, or sort order. Sort the follow-ups in ascending or descending order by clicking the Sort button. Single-click the appropriate follow-up under the All Codes header to move it under the selected follow-ups. Remove a follow-up from the list of selected follow-ups. Click to highlight the desired one and click Remove. Add the follow-up to the patient's follow-up list. Click the Next. Close without requesting follow-up. Click Cancel. If a follow-up does not show up in the list, or if any needs to be modified, click the Edit Follow-ups button. From this screen, you can modify and add any follow-up codes. Any follow-up codes that are pending will be added to the patient's follow-up list. Additional follow-ups may be requested from the screen. The user has the ability to save all pending follow-ups for another user, such as the administrative staff, to complete. This screen will appear upon entering the follow-up module if there are any outstanding follow-ups. Review pending and completed follow-up for that encounter by clicking Show All. Request more follow-ups for the patient by clicking Add. Save any changes made to the follow-up list. Click Save. Discard any changes made to the follow-up list. Click Cancel. Each follow-up will have its own set of input and buttons. Comments can be added to each follow-up for the front desk to review. Indicate the follow-up has been completed. Click the Complete button. If a follow-up was added in error, click the Remove button. If the requested follow-up is for a correspondence or referral letter, options related to the letter will appear. This will allow the user to generate a letter from a template. A header and signature can be added to the letter by selecting the note prefix or suffix. The provider must be selected in order for the letter to be generated. The patient's referring provider will be filled in if it was added to the care team. If the referring input is empty, click the Referral search. Generate the letter by clicking Print Referral. If you need any additional help or have any further questions, please call the Genius Solutions EHR Support Department at 586-751-9080, option 7. Thank you.